This audiovisual material was produced and published by 100 Books Collection.
The Greeks believed that the secret to a happy existence was to exercise moderation in all aspects of life. People may occasionally say things like, "Well, I don't have time for my family. Moderation is a good thing. I do not have the time to work out." Whenever you realize that you are becoming out of sync with respect to balance, and particularly when you believe that you do not have the time, those are the times when you need to stop and ponder the most. I don't have time for this and time for that. What would I do if I knew that I only had 6 months left to live? That is the question that has to be asked. If you discover that you are working too hard, not spending enough time in your relationship, or not spending enough time with the people who care about you and who care about you, you should ask yourself, what would I do if I only had 6 months to live? And if what you would want to do is spend more time with the people who are significant in your life, the time to begin spending that time is right now. So, if you only had 6 months to live, what would you accomplish with your life? There is a well-known joke that goes, "The doctors say they've never met a businessman on his deathbed who said, 'Boy, I wish I'd spent more time at the office.'" The truth of the issue is that maintaining a sense of equilibrium and moderation in all aspects of your life can boost your productivity and efficiency. It is important to keep in mind that the only reason you are working is to enable you to take pleasure in the wonderful aspects of life, which include the people you are with, the connections you have, the things that bring you joy, and so on. Imagine that you are completely self-sufficient in terms of your finances, that you have $20 million in the bank, and concurrently that you only have 10 years left to live. However, you have all of the money that you need, and you are required to work at anything. Despite this, you are going to have excellent health. You are not allowed to be a slacker. Therefore, if you had the ability to work at any job, if you had all the money you need, and if you didn't want to spend any time, what kind of job would you choose? Imagine that you could wave a magic wand and have all of the talent and skill that you need to be successful in any profession. Which field would you choose for yourself if you had the ability to do so? And then what you do is you just begin to conduct some study on that topic by working in it on a part-time basis, working in it for free, reading books and taking courses, and talking to individuals who are already associated with it. There are literally thousands of people whom I have spoken to over the years who have done that and eventually changed out of their current job, sometimes within the same company, sometimes out of their current job where they weren't very satisfied, into a new job that they loved, and they became a star at that new job. I have had the opportunity to speak with these individuals. You are able to perform the same thing. Whoever wants to can do this. The Law of Three is the name of the time management law that I am going to share with you. It is my personal favorite rule of time management. Just by adhering to this rule, you will be able to place yourself among the most successful and productive individuals in your world. If you create a list of everything that you have to accomplish in a week or a month, you will come up with 20 or 30 tasks or activities. Some people write down 40 or 50 chores or activities. The Law of Three is based on my 30 years of research into time management. What it essentially states is that if you make a list of everything that you have to do, you get 20 or 30. On the other hand, if you take a look at this list, you will discover that there are just 3 activities that you participate in throughout your life that are responsible for 90% of the value that you provide to your life. There are only 3 things that are responsible for 90% of your happiness, and wherever you are in life, there are only 3 things. This rule of 3 is applicable in any situation, and it is applicable to everyone. It is effective whether you are a doctor, an investment banker, a salesman, a company owner, or a student. At all times, there are 3. In order to do this, you first compile a list of everything that you do, and then you ask 3 questions afterwards. First and foremost, if I were to be limited to doing just one item from this list for the whole of the day, which of these activities would have the most significant and favorable effect on my life? This is another way of putting it. If I could only engage in one activity during the whole day, which one of those activities would assist me to double my income more quickly than anything else? And the answer to that question is often rather apparent. Consequently, you encircle that area with a circle, and then you query it once again. Which of the following would be the second most useful thing that I could accomplish if I were only able to perform two things during the whole day? As you continue through your list, you will eventually get at the second item on the list. Afterward, you pose the topic for the third time. If I could only do 3 things during the whole day, what would be the third activity that I would choose to undertake? And you make a circle around it. Now, I put each and every one of my students through this exercise, and they are all amazed because, in just a few minutes, they are able to see very clearly that these are the 3 most critical things that they do in order to achieve their objectives of gaining happiness, prosperity, and health. As a result, the rule is as follows. In your day-to-day life, you should do fewer things, but you should do more essential things, and you should do them more often. After that, you should work on becoming better and improving in each of those aspects of your life. There are 3 things that you do that are more essential than anything else, and these things will vary throughout time. Nonetheless, you always need to be clear about those 3 things. Furthermore, if you begin focusing just on these 3 aspects, you will increase your output, performance, and productivity by a factor of 2 quite rapidly. If you are able to focus on the 3 things that are most important to you, you will be successful. There are 4 prerequisites that you must fulfill in order to make these strategies effective for you. Let's refer to them as the 4 Ds. Desire is the first letter of the alphabet. I believe that in order to be successful at managing your time, you must have a strong desire. The decision is the second letter D. It is essential that you come to the conclusion that you are going to pursue a career as an expert in this field. In light of the fact that we have discovered that in the absence of a choice, nothing ever occurs, you are going to enroll in this class. You are going to make use of these materials, and you are going to practice them over and over again. You need to make a determination that is crystal clear, unambiguous, and do or die, burning bridges, that this is a topic that you are going to understand and master. It is discipline that is the third D. You need to have the self-discipline to practice and repeat effective time management practices over and over again to get the desired results. The capacity to exercise self-discipline is going to be the single most important factor in determining your level of success in life. In point of fact, we say that time management is the embodiment of self-discipline in action. And the fourth D, which is determination, is necessary in order to become an expert in time management. The capacity to persevere is a must for you. If you want to become very, very excellent in this subject, you need to have the resolve to keep on staying at it, on and at it, for a sufficient amount of sufficient time. On the other hand, I can assure you that the payback will be enormous since, as you can see, managing your time is actually just managing your life. Every action you take to improve the quality of your time management will have a positive impact on every aspect of your life and will make an improvement. To put it another way, the quality of your life is directly proportional to the degree to which you are able to effectively manage your time. Because the way you spend your time is the most important aspect of your life. The quality of your life will be decided by how you spend your time minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day. In each and every one of our studies of high-performing men and women, we have discovered that a strong focus on achieving results is directly correlated with significant financial rewards in life. It does not matter how much time you invest, the activities that you participate in, how honest you are, how educated you are, how talented you are, or anything else. I believe that the only factor that is taken into consideration when calculating your rewards is what you generate or the outcomes that you get as a consequence of the time that you invest. Not just the benefits you get from your psychic abilities, but also the rewards you receive from your financial situation. A direct percentage of the quality and quantity of the outcomes that you create is always taken into consideration when determining your pay. This is what we refer to as the law of cause and effect, often known as the law of sowing and reaping. How well you are able to get outcomes is the driving force behind everything that occurs to you, as well as the simpler reward. Increasing the quality and quantity of your outcomes is something you need to keep in mind at all times if you want to improve the quality and quantity of the rewards you get. The majority of individuals are very unproductive, which brings us to the second argument. If their lives depended on it, the majority of individuals would not be able to complete a full day's work. As a matter of fact, every single research that I have ever come across says that the typical individual only operates at 50% of their potential. It is a well-known truth that around 30% of the time spent at work is spent engaging in activities such as socializing, gossiping, wasting time, talking, chit-chatting, loitering around the water fountain, reading the newspaper, sipping coffee, and other similar activities. In your opinion, what does it mean? It indicates that the typical human is operating at a capacity that is less than 50%. If you're willing to do some of the things that we discuss in order to quickly go ahead of other individuals, you'll find that there are huge possibilities available to you. The state of being tidy is the foundation upon which the process of getting things done is built. That you begin with a clean desk and that you finish with a clean desk is what we mean when we talk about the characteristic of neatness. In the beginning, you have a clean suitcase, and in the end, you have another clean briefcase. Taking the effort to ensure that your whole working environment is clean, professional, productive, and efficient is something that you do and take pride in. It is important to keep in mind that the outcomes of your actions are not the only thing that matters. What matters is how other people perceive your actions. I recently heard a tale written by a self-made billionaire who said that he had founded 5 successful firms, and one of the most important regulations that each and every employee had to follow was to keep their desks tidy. With that being said, the significance of maintaining concentration is the 4th essential to getting things done. Concentration, which resulted in clarity. In addition, we have a lot of conversations regarding this topic. To be focused implies to have a complete and whole understanding of what it is that you are attempting to achieve. Being focused implies that you have a complete understanding of the most important aspects of your results and the reasons you are being paid. The phrase, fuzzy focus leads to fuzzy results, is being used here. With a clear concentration, one may get clear outcomes. In addition, this indicates that you give yourself time to reflect. One of the questions that you take the time to consider is, why am I on the payroll? In what capacity have I been recruited to carry out my duties? Which of my key outcome areas are they? What are my primary responsibilities? Which 20% of the activities that I engage in are responsible for 80% of the outcomes, and so on. Consequently, the first step in accomplishing one's goals is to concentrate and think clearly. To maintain a very good focus, I am constantly adjusting the camera. Next, the principle of focus is the next essential one. Concentration is the process that you engage in after you have determined the most significant thought to accomplish the most important objective you have set for yourself. That being the case, you will need to focus your attention entirely on a single task until it is finished. If Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the wealthiest man in the world, and the third richest man were to attend a dinner party at Bill Gates' house the previous year, and there were around 100 people milling around at the reception, sipping wine and other beverages. Then the invitation would be extended to Warren Buffett. All three of these individuals, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates' father, are strong friends, and they were standing and conversing with one another. One of the other guests approached them and remarked, "Excuse me, gentlemen, you were three of the most important people in the world. Currently, what do you consider to be the most essential factor in achieving success?" And then they all turned around and said, "Focus." And then everyone stopped chatting at that moment. The attribute that is most essential for success in today's world is focus. The capacity to concentrate is more vital for success than any other characteristic at this point in time, since we are surrounded by so many different sorts of distractions. Now, when I was young and having little money, I established a concept, and that belief was that if wealthy and powerful people advise you to do something, you should do it. In the event that they tell you that this is the secret to their achievement, you need to at least put it into practice for a time to determine whether or not it is applicable to you. I was able to teach my customers, who are company owners, how to concentrate, which is something that I have learnt and what I have learned from coaching them. In addition to teaching them how to pick certain objectives and activities in each aspect of their lives, I also instructed them on how to concentrate like a laser beam on a single objective at a time. You can rule the world if you are able to do it. Now, in actuality, there is only one destination that all of the labor and time management may bring us to: focus. It is the capacity to focus one's attention entirely on a single goal, to establish priorities, that is, the most essential thing, and to remain committed to fulfilling that one task until it is completed. When you are concentrating, you are going ahead in a straight path toward the goals and objectives that you have clearly established. I refer to the ability to focus without being distracted or diverted. 25 years of study has led me to conclude that the keys to success and happiness in life are focus and concentration. A lack of attention and a lack of focus are the factors that contribute to a lack of achievement and an overall sense of discontent. I have discovered the most important principle of time management or personal productivity of all, and it is as follows. Make a list of everything you do in the morning before you start work, and then choose the one item on that list that is more important than any other item in terms of potential consequences, and then begin working on that one task, and work on it 100% of the time until it is finished. Now, if you are able to do that, you will be able to quadruple or even treble your output, and you will become one of the most highly compensated and recognized individuals in your field. Make a decision on which of your tasks is the most essential. Begin working on it right away, and give it your whole attention until it is finished. After 30 years of researching and producing books on the subject of time management, I came to the conclusion that the completion of tasks is the most important factor in achieving success. I only count the jobs you finish, not the ones you work on. If you are a student, it is the completion of your tasks as well as your student reports. It is the completion of the sales if you are a salesman. If you are a person who is involved in business, it is the completion of many transactions. Completing chores is the essence of everything in life. Now, here is a fantastic payoff. In the event that you successfully finish a significant assignment, you will experience a rise in your feeling of self-esteem and personal strength. You experience an increase in self-confidence, as well as an increase in energy and ideas. You have a positive inner state of being. When you finish a job, your brain releases endorphins, which are chemicals that make you feel joyful, alert, and creative. Endorphins are released whenever another work is finished. Their ability to fortify your immune system ensures that you will never get ill. Consequently, you will discover that the characteristics of successful individuals include the fact that they consistently begin and finish activities, and more importantly, they begin and finish them on time. So, what are the prerequisites for this? It demands self-discipline, which is both our old friend and our old adversary. Now, what we know about task completion is that not only is it the key to going into the future, not only is it the key to getting more and greater and better opportunities, but important task completion, doing something that is important to you and carrying it through and finishing it to the fullest extent possible at the end, is a source of energy, enthusiasm, and high self-esteem. They are more positive, they are more optimistic, and they are more self-confident. This is true for both men and women who are working continuously on getting essential things done and sticking with it until it is finished. They are brimming with self-assurance. They also have a greater belief and self-assurance in themselves, and they are given more opportunity to fulfill a greater number of duties. In addition, here is the other side. Performing chores that are low on the priority list causes stress. When you go to work and achieve a lot of tiny things, but they don't get you closer to the completion of things that are truly important to you, the worst thing that can happen is that you end up feeling really miserable as a consequence of your efforts. What we have discovered is that the ordinary individual in the United Kingdom, Germany, and France works around $600 per year, whereas the average executive or company owner works approximately $2,000 hours per year. To calculate this, you take your yearly income and divide it by 2,000. This is the formula you use. Let's assume you had an annual income of $100,000 and you choose to split that by 2,000. The hourly rate that you are earning is $50, which indicates that you are making $50 every hour. In the long run, you may take into account all of your perks, pensions, and other such things. But, regardless of what this is, let's assume that your hourly wage is $50. So, according to Ricardo's rule, which is also known as the law of comparative advantage, which was developed by David Ricardo, you should avoid doing anything that pays less than $50 per hour. The only tasks you do are those that pay you at least $50 an hour, or that other people would pay you $50 an hour or more to perform. On top of that, you delegate everything else. If there is anything that another person is capable of doing for $10 an hour, you need to employ that person to do it. $20 an hour, $30 an hour. You keep employing individuals who are capable of doing jobs at an hourly rate that is lower than your own. This is the grand discovery, and it has the potential to completely transform one's life. The law of three is what I know it as. The rule of three states that regardless of how many things you accomplish or how many activities you do in a week or a month, which is often between 20 and 30, three of those tasks account for 90% of your worth throughout the course of that time period. And just three. I do this with my business owners, and I have them go through this, and they are amazed. They quadruple their revenue within 30 days. You develop a list of all of your duties, and I do this with business owners from my own company, mostly due to the fact that I ask them the three best questions. Your first magical question is as follows. If you could only perform one item on this list, one activity on this list, for the whole of the day, which one of these tasks would have the most significant beneficial influence on your professional life? What is the one task? For the most part, it will pop. It will leap out at you directly. You have surrounded it with a circle, right? Then you come up with the question, if you could only do two things all day long, which would be number two? And you draw a circle around it as your answer. Put a ring around the number three, if you could only do three things all day long. Then, all of a sudden, it seems as if all of these other chores are disappearing, just like a camera shot in a movie. Those 3 chores are sitting there like those 3 magic tabs, and they vanish as quickly as they appeared. It dawns on you, oh my God, those are the 3 most important things. Other things are of lesser importance. After that, you concentrate on the 3 things that are most important to you. Everything else may be done by someone else, done later, or not done at all. You should do fewer things, but you should do more essential things, and you should do them more often and grow better at them. This is the guideline that will allow you to double your income, and then double it again, and I will repeat it again. Repeat. Reduce the number of things you do, the big 3. Increase the number of more essential things you do. Increase the amount of time you spend on those 3 jobs, and then improve your performance in those tasks so that you can do more work in a shorter amount of time while maintaining a higher level of quality. I guarantee that if you put the law of 3 into practice, your life will change dramatically. It is possible to combine this with the Eat the Frog strategy and focus on the task that is most essential to you, the one that has the potential to offer the greatest value. You may continue to do this until it becomes a habit, and it will become automatic. When you get up in the morning, you immediately begin working on the job that you consider to be the most essential. No, I don't do that, you respond to me. People say things like, what about this? I don't do little tasks. Those are not an integral part of my job. Exactly what is that? I responded by saying, excuse me, I handle management. My work consists of management tasks. It is you, the person who is now viewing this, who should conceive of yourself as management and carry out your 3 responsibilities. I am responsible for my major 3, and labor is responsible for everything else. You're going to rule the world if you can do it until it becomes a habit. Over the course of our lives, each and every one of us has the desire to cultivate character. There are many different ways that character may be defined. I appreciate the notion that character is the capacity to follow through on a resolution after the excitement with which the decision was made has faded. This is one description that I prefer. Consequently, if you decide to enroll in this class, you will be required to make a great deal of choices, promises, and resolves. One of the most accurate indicators of one's character is whether or not they are able to carry out their commitments. In essence, character is the manifestation of self-discipline in action. An example of self-discipline in action is character, the degree to which you are prepared to discipline yourself and to make the sacrifices that are required in the near term in order to have a wonderful life in the long run is a good indicator of the amount of character you possess.